the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, any additions or deletions to this agenda?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve minutes from the last public business meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just a brief meeting tonight. Item 1 is the fiscal 2023 budget amendment. Mr. Bennett.
Good evening, Commissioners. As you guys know, throughout the year, we'll do budget amendments as they come to us, so we'll do them in little bunches for you guys. Tonight, we have 6 budget amendments for you, totaling $1.2 million. I'll just buzz through them very quickly. Budget Amendment 1 is a tourism grant. We got $356,561 more dollars than anticipated from the state of Maryland for our tourism grant this year, so that's to increase their budget. Item 2 is the police protection grant. We also got an additional $104,000 this year from what was budgeted, so that's increasing the sheriff's budget. Budget Amendment 3 is that for drug court personnel for additional salaries that we've had there in the amount of $16,000. Budget Amendment 4 is an increase in the Homeland Security grant for radio equipment in the amount of $117,455. Budget Amendment 5 is for new OOCC grant personnel, completely paid for by a drug court grant from the state of Maryland in the amount of $55,349. And finally, to recognize actual ARPA expenditures from this year in the amount of $500,000 for equipment and vehicles that we've bought with ARPA funds. Just looking for your approval tonight so we can modify our budget for this. From all these, there's very, very little effect to fund balance. It's almost all grant funding.
Great.
Good, sir.
Gentlemen, any discussion?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a large consent agenda tonight. Mr. Bennett.
Commissioners, you're going to get tired of hearing me tonight. 18 items on the consent agenda tonight. Item 2 listed is transfer a certificate of sale to the town of Barton to transfer one of our certificates from tax sale to them for a property located at High and Washington Street in Barton. And Barton will be working on taking that property to get it cleaned up. Item 3 is fiscal year 2023 operating assistance grant program to award public transportation operating assistance grant in the amount of $1,246,399 for the operation of our transit service. Item 4 is senior care system annual plan to sign with the Maryland Office of Aging and Senior Center annual plan review for fiscal 23. Item 5 is a lease addendum with TCMT LLC for a 5-year lease extension that will be retroactive back to November 1, 2021 for a property located on McMullen Highway. Item 6 is a lease addendum for lease addendum number 5 with Let's Quality Foods, which will expire 1 year, expire September 1st, 2023 for a property located out here behind us. Item 7, purchase and trade of vehicles for the Sheriff's Office. Allow them to purchase a 2015 Toyota RAV4 in the amount of $20,439 from Timbrook Chrysler. And also authorize the trade of a 2015 Jeep Cherokee for a 2019 Chevrolet Trax, which will be an even trade. Item 8 is the purchase of a vehicle for the Sheriff's Office for 2010 Camaro to be used for our DARE program, and that'll be for $8,000 from Frontline Mobile Tech LLC. Item 9, also purchase a vehicle for the Sheriff's Office for a 2020 Chevy Tahoe in the amount of $45,627 from Stan McNabb Chevy in Columbia. Item 10, also a sale of a vehicle. Sheriff's Office is going to sell a 2019 Dodge Durango back to Timbrook Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for $29,350 to take care of electrical issues we've had with that vehicle. Item 11, you'll be thankful. I'm not going to read all of these surplus vehicles we have listed here. They are all either abandoned and or seized. There's 19 vehicles on the list, and you can read them at your leisure.
Commissioners, do you want to hear the VIN numbers on
I
this?
do, because I know Jason's got to memorize.
The county attorneys memorized them.
I believe that the administrator is legally required to read them.
There we go.
So sue me. Item 12 is Resolution 22-23 to amend the rules and regulations for county employees, and this would be specifically to create an RN position to be utilized in the detention center. Item 13 is the 2023 Visit Mountain Maryland Destination Guide. This would be a request for proposals. Item 14, Allegheny County Board of Zoning Appeals appointment of Dale Dickerhoof from Cumberland, Maryland to serve. His term will expire September 25th, 2025. Item 15 is the fiscal year 22 Emergency Management Performance Grant acceptance in the amount of $93,730.12. Item 16, fiscal year 22 Homeland Security Grant Program acceptance in the amount of $166,946. That will amend our operating budget of Department 1448. Item 17, Allegheny County Department of Emergency Services, ARPA funding in the amount of $21,130 to purchase 2 self-contained breathing apparatuses for the Department of Emergency Services. Item 18, community promotions in the amount of $1,000 for the Joe Hauser Memorial Walk to be held Saturday, October 22nd at the Cresaptown PVAA Sports Complex. And last but not least, Item 19, community promotions, authorizing $1,000 for the Savage Mountain Punk Arts Punktoberfest to be held October 15th, 2022 at City Place in Frostburg, and a picnic to be held May 6, 2023 at Hoffman Park.
Very
And that's
good.
enough.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay. Gentlemen, any discussion? Is there a
No.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Bennett, anything else?
No, other than to note that we had our work session today, and you guys had a chance to hear from Jane's Place and their request to hopefully become quasi-part of county government and help them out. So other than that, nothing else.
Yes. Very good on their part and James Elliott's part, and our staff here for hopefully getting a solution that everyone's going to be in favor of with that. Okay. Mr. Beeman.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Great. Commissioner Caparelli.
I'd like to welcome Delegate Buckle. Oh, he was going to give a speech. Thank you for attending tonight, sir.
Welcome. Commissioner Brody.
Sir, I have nothing except, Delegate, it's always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Very good. Okay, just 2 quick things. We had our LaVale Library public opening since the last meeting. It was a long time coming, so I want to thank all the staff that was involved on our end and the library's end on that. Dan DeWitt's here. Dan, thank you for all your efforts. You know, we like those projects because the state pays 90% of the cost. And, you know, I think it's one of the nicest libraries in the state of Maryland. It's right here in Allegheny County. So we're happy to support that. And it was a great night to be there. The other thing, we're hosting the ARC, Appalachian Regional Conference here next week. And so we'll have governors from all over the country. Governor Hogan's going to be here. I think Jim Justice from West Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. And so it'll really give us a chance to highlight Allegheny County and peak fall foliage. And so we'll be downtown some. We'll be out at Rocky Gap some. And we look forward to welcoming a lot of governors and a lot of people from across the country right here at Allegheny County. So, you know, Tri-County Council's Garrett, Allegheny, and Washington County. And this is the first time it's being held in Maryland, I think, since 1991. So quite an honor to have everyone here this year. Okay. With that, we have a few people signed up to speak tonight. First, we have Mr. Ed Taylor.
Commissioners, for the record, I'm Edward Taylor Jr., 400 South Allegheny Street. I'm here as president of the Cumberland Historic Cemetery Organization. And I'm here with some good news, and I would like to invite all county residents, and in particular the 3 county commissioners, and Delegate Buckle back there, assume you got my message by now. We will be unveiling our official 2022 monument on Saturday at a wonderful ceremony at 2 p.m. at Green Mount Cemetery. That cemetery is located in between Shades Lane and Gale Street on the east side of Cumberland. And the monument is long overdue, and it's to the first and the only so far, thank God, killed in action Cumberland policeman. His name is August Baker, and he was brutally murdered in October of 1907. And he's laid in an unmarked grave for well over 100 years along with his family. And through the efforts of the county, the city of Cumberland, the Cumberland Police Department, and the Allegheny County Sheriff's Department, and our organization, we were able to put up a very beautiful 12-foot monument, which we're going to unveil. And we have a variety of speakers. Commissioner Caporelli, we have you on the agenda to speak for the county. And it's a very good thing for the community to honor this man. It's very pro-police. We believe in funding the police. And it's a very good thing for Allegheny County and our entire community. And I hope everyone will attend. And again, it's this Saturday, October 8th at 2 p.m. And in closing, Commissioner Shea, this is probably going to be my last meeting I attend since you've been County Commissioner President, and I want to personally thank you for everything you've done for Allegheny County. It's greatly appreciated. I know you don't hear that all the time. I've been coming over, well, to county meetings since 1983 as president of our organization over one issue or the other. And in our 39-year history, we're on the eve of our 40th anniversary. In all that time, we've never had such a good county commissioner representation that we've gotten along with. This is the best in my lifetime that I've seen. There's been some county commissioners I damn well couldn't stand, but you guys, you're all in favor of all of our folks, and that's greatly appreciated. And Jake, we thank you for everything you've done.
Ed, thank you very much. It means a lot, it goes to show they put in a lot of time and effort, and you can get along with the Board of Ed and the city and outside groups, and I know Dave and Creed will carry that on. So, but thank you, thank you very much. Okay, up next we have Ms. Betsy Schwab and Nancy Guinta.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Excuse me, I've had a cold. An old-fashioned cold. But what I wanted to talk to you this afternoon was to float some ideas about the Allegheny County, or the Allegheny High School property. I have 3 suggestions that are intertwined that I think might be a good use of the property. The first is moderate income housing, which I know has already been discussed, talked about, and you may even have a contractor on call or something. But that certainly is an issue that we need in this community, moderate income housing, so that people who are working people, families can afford a house of their own and have a place to live. The second is, part of that is a playground. When you have housing, you need a playground. And the only playground on the west side is at West Side School. And of course that's not available during school days, and sometimes it's locked. So there's nowhere else for children on the west side to play. So the west side's playground in that area would be a great draw and would be something that those in the housing area could use. It would be a good gathering space. The third thing that I think would be really good in that space is something that does not exist in this community, and I think we have a great need for, and that is a 3-stage senior living facility. When my in-laws were looking for a place because they wanted to get out of their house, there was nowhere they could go. We have lost many, many active seniors because they are looking for a place that's new, that's close to town, close to amenities, where they could go, where they won't have to worry about the maintenance, they won't have to worry about mowing the grass, they won't have to worry about snow removal, but they have access to everything. And that property at Allegany High School, the old Allegany High School, has access, easy access to the Gap. And bicycling is a huge, huge draw in this community and throughout the country now. And I think if we had a place for active seniors where they could buy in as active seniors, then if they needed the assisted living, and the nursing home part perhaps could come later, but I think the active senior living with the access to the Gap could draw people here who are bicyclists. We've lost a lot of seniors, a lot of our executives from this community who have moved out of the community to places that have 3-stage senior living and active 3-stage senior living facilities. So I'd like to recommend that you consider that possibility. The synergy between the three components would provide this intergenerational mingling and learning from the different generations. The seniors could help perhaps babysit the children, or for families who are responsible, and Dr. Junta will talk about this in a minute with some of her experience. Families in the 30 to 50-year range who are the sandwich generation. They're taking care of children, they're taking care of their senior parents. They could live in the moderate housing and the parents could live in the active senior living. So there would be a tremendous synergy between these three things. So I'd like to ask you to consider those three things for the Allegany property. I think about lots of things, so I've already thought that the place where the field is where they're practicing and where the school was could be the moderate housing. The field across the street where the band practices could be the senior facility, and the lower parking lot could be the playground. So there's a setup already. But I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Junta, who will give you a few facts that will help to make this case.
Please.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Betsy. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Nancy Junta, Dr. Nancy Junta. I am an associate professor of social work, and my area of expertise is gerontological social work. I have been a resident of Allegany County since 2006, so about 16 years. And what we do know is the 65 and over age group has been the fastest growing age group in Allegany County in between the 2010 census and the 2020 census. Right now, about 1 in 5 people in Allegany County is 65 years or older. We also see Allegany County poised as an incredible place for people who are active older adults to move here to take advantage of the cultural and recreational opportunities here in Allegany County. What we also know is the quickest drop, or the largest drop in population has been the 35 to 49-year-old age group. And that's the group that Betsy was mentioning is our group of caregivers, people who are generally taking care of older adults like parents and neighbors, and also at the same time taking care of children. So we see this need for supportive housing for older adults and perhaps need for moderate income younger adults in Allegany County as a huge need. We also believe, and because this is the trend in the rest of the country and in the world, that we have an aging population. So right now in Allegany County, 1 in 5 people is older. That will continue to increase. And you already know, because you just approved the annual plan for the senior services programs, that we are very, very limited in support for seniors in this county. So if there's something we could do to create an intergenerational housing opportunity for people of moderate income here, I definitely support Betsy's suggestion and support your ideas on moving forward for developing that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I'll just say, you know, our whole push on this has been to get the land ready to go. You know, we didn't want it to turn into another East Side school that sits there for decades and decades. We would have had it torn down even quicker if not for COVID. So we were able to get state grants and state demolition, about $2 million, and have the site demoed. So the next phase, we are going to put out an RFP. You know, something that I'm going to absolutely push for is some sort of park space. You know, there needs to be some sort of green space there for the community. You know, those fields are still being utilized. So I don't know if it'll be a track. I don't know if it'll be something, a park, a playground. But I definitely think that's something that's going to be on the parcel regardless. But in terms of the other stuff, we'll kind of wait and see.
Yeah, and Commissioners, just an update on timing, we're probably 2 weeks out from the demolition being completely done. Once that starts, our economic development people have already been up there taking pictures, gathering information, so we can put this RFP together. So we're hoping to get something out on the street in the next couple months, and then excited to see what kind of comes back to us in form of ideas for the community. So I think there's a lot to be hopeful about.
Very good. Okay. Up next, we have Mr. Richard Scherer.
And Earlene DeGoyer, too.
Okay,
We didn't quite get her on the list.
that's fine.
Earlene, D-A-R-L-E-N, DeGoyer, D-E-G-O-L-Y-E-R. Commissioners, I wish I could be with good news for why we are here tonight, but my name's Richard Scherer. I'm a property owner in LaVale, and the address is 13814 Marshall Porter Road. The neighboring property owners are Mr. Dave Porter and the Parkers. About 2 years ago, Mr. Porter had done illegal logging, built an illegal cabin. I don't know if anybody on the board tonight is knowing about this or not. If Mr. Squires was here, he would automatically remember. Since that, the road damage from the illegal logging has never been repaired. The potholes are so deep that Earlene, which lives on the property too, cannot even go through the road. She gets stuck in potholes, there's gravel packed everywhere. The cabin that was illegally built and then given a permit afterwards has a loose shale driveway that is now washed down Mr. Porter's private road, which has got to be about 150 yards long. It fills Marshall Porter Road below him, so that it makes it extremely dangerous for her. She can't even go check the mailbox in her electric wheelchair because of the gravel issues. Now, of course, after about 3 weeks, no rain, a little bit of traffic, the gravel gets spread away, that type of deal. So the new issues with Mr. Porter, I had sent Mr. Squires an email on the 15th of October about Mr. Porter coming down to my property and cutting a tree down that I planted about 3 years ago. The tree was 2 or 3 inches off my property and very far from his. He just decided he didn't like it. So he sent his guy down that does his yard work and cut down this tree. So I thought that was wrong. So I asked Mr. Squires about it, and he hooked me up with Ariel in the office. She told me that, well, as long as he's not ripping it out by the roots, ripping trees out by the roots, it's okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, that just doesn't sound right, because what's the difference between illegally logging on his property or illegally cutting trees off his property? And then she told me that it might be a good idea to plant more trees. So that was extremely agitating. During all this, these last over a year, I've been trying to get a Mr. Cook to come out and look at these issues on the property. He is completely just ignored all my emails, does not care to come out. I tried to have Mr. Gay prior to him. He finally did come out. And my neighbor, the Parkers, have a building that physically sits on my property page. And that was one of the problems that I wanted him to negotiate for me between my neighbors, so we didn't have some explosion in our backyard. He saw no problem with this. This building can sit on my property, even though it's not my building. It's okay. So I guess he was allowed to rewrite the codes that day. When I had come in prior to that for a building permit for myself, I had to get permission from Mr. Porter because I would be 8 inches from his property. He said no, I didn't build it. But it's okay for the other neighbor to sit their buildings on my property. It just seems kind of odd. We're not getting any help from the office at all. Mr. Squires, his comment was, well, if it's on your property, you don't want it there, tear it down. I'm pretty sure that's the wrong kind of, that's the wrong way to go about it. So we're still having huge amounts of problems, other than just this tree cutting incident that happened just recently. Like I said, Mr. Porter did illegal logging with no permit. The road got destroyed as considered an OP road, I think it's called. You're looking at 2 inches thick of asphalt, 100,000-pound trucks going over it. It doesn't take long to destroy it. Mr. Porter's cabin, he has a loose shale driveway that with any rains whatsoever, this driveway ends up in front of our driveway and down through the neighborhood. Incredibly dangerous. The other issue would be that during this cabin build, Mr. Porter hooked his sewer line to his septic system, which of course is against code, so the commission made him put a sewer line in. When he dug this sewer line, they dug it literally next to 2 oak trees that have got to be 100+ feet tall, enormous trees. They are now leaning at over 15 degrees toward my property because they literally dug the roots out from underneath them. Instead of just going through the center of the road where you want your infrastructure because the road's destroyed anyways, but didn't want to fix that, didn't want to do it the correct way. There is just so much damage that's happening because of this situation between illegal logging, illegal cabinet. I mean, we sit in our back porch and hear automatic fire weapons, firing going on from people that are staying at this cabin. It's on Airbnb. And I know exactly what automatic to semi sounds like. First Armored, second Cav, I was in Berlin when the wall fell. Okay, I know exactly what automatic weaponry sounds like. Let's see here. And as I said, Erlene here, my girlfriend, she's lived at the property for many, many years. And prior to all of this, we would go for walks just like anyone else. She's got a wheelchair that'll do 9 miles an hour. I can't really keep up with the thing. And it was enjoyment. You know, everybody should be able to go out and take a walk. That's her type of walk. This chair will go anywhere, I thought, until she got stuck. Okay, which it's just not right, you know. And it's not right to the other neighbors either, because on this portion of road there are only 5 homes, other than Mr. Porter that's all the way at the top. Okay, so Mr. Porter's idea was, well, hey, you pay half, and the county will pay half, or I'm not doing anything. Why should the neighbors, these 5 neighbors, rake out all this money because of the damage he did to this road? This is insane. I mean, this road is a disaster. It's so bad that it's actually changed the drainage on the road that is now raking out the sides of the road and going into other people's properties, including my own. There was a swale put in that the county did do 50-50 on for Mr. Porter behind my property. I take care of the swale, because if I don't take care of it, it wouldn't even be a swale anymore. It would just be a grass mound. We have done enormous improvements at our property. And this is just killing us. This is just making our property value. Everything we put in is just getting thrown in the trash can. So we would appreciate if the commission could speak with someone in the office to come out and take a genuine look at what's going on. And I would really ask that at least one of the commission comes with, because I'm sorry to say, I don't trust them in your office, okay? For what they've told us over these last couple of years, you just don't know what's right or wrong. You know, I can't imagine that it's okay just to go to your home and out to your sidewalk and a tree you don't own, but you love it, and I cut it down, and that's okay. That's not right. It can't be right.
Attorney Beeman, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we spoke about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
I think we did. We talked about the logging issue. At that point in time, it was destroying the road. And I'm just piecing it together in my head.
Sure.
As I recall, you know, what I'm certain I would have told you at that point in time is very similar to what I'm going to tell you right now. And that's the things like the logging on your property, right? I'm an attorney, I'm not your attorney. But I can tell you that Maryland law provides a remedy for you if someone comes onto your property and illegally cuts down a tree. You're able to sue them, and you're able to acquire damages, and in some instances, triple your damages, plus your attorney fees.
I remember you saying that.
And so there are remedies that are available to you. Things like Mr. Porter caught doing things on his property that cause issues on your property. Those are nuisance issues that you can address through the civil courts in our court system. They're unfortunately not the sort of thing that the county commissioners have the ability to redress when we have the civil court system that allows you to redress those issues with your neighbor.
So it's okay for Ariel in the office to tell me to plant more trees that he can cut down?
He can't cut your trees down.
Well, that's what she told me.
No.
Well, other than these civil issues, some of the other stuff you're talking about in Mr. Squire's office, if you would, let me get your contact information afterwards. I'll follow up with Mr. Squire's office and get all the details and figure out what's going on.
That would be one, I didn't expect.
So there's kind of two different things going on here.
Sure.
There's definitely some civil issues. There could be some permit type issues that we need to look into.
That's one-
I'd just like to understand it a little better.
Sure. That's one thing, that's another thing that I wanted to bring up is that when I first bought the property, it came with a 30 by 50 garage, and I'm a mechanic by trade. So you can just imagine why I bought the property. And then I found out it's rural. So the only thing you can do is plant corn, grow cows, and clean up after everybody. Mr. Porter now has his cabin, these permit issues, that he's allowed to have as a business, that he rents on B&B, but I can't have a business in my garage. So that would be one concern to definitely take a look at. Another concern that's not about the logging, but the damage is done to the tree line across from my property. These trees are, and this is one reason why I wanted the commission to come out or someone to come out, because you really have to see this, it's scary. These trees are enormous. They've got to be 3.5 feet across the trunk, so they're huge. They're at a 15 to 20 degree angle now, which they were straight when he dug his sewer line. Again, a permitting issue. But these trees are not going to last much longer. I mean, this has only been in the last 1.5 years, okay? And what a waste of beautiful trees. So I'd really like to have someone come out and take a look at that. The only other issue, other than what happens on the property up there, which is quite scary, my neighbor, the Parkers, and this is another permit thing that I talked to Mr. Squires about. They were unknown about this. The old owner had piped out their backyard to reduce the flooding in their backyard, which they never put any drainage out in the front. So Woodbine Road, which is at the corner, you know, Marshall Porter, Woodbine, there is no road left there anymore. There are no drainage ditches there anymore. Everything's washed away. And I brought that to Mr. Squire's attention. I even had him drive through it. He just acted like it was no big deal. The Parkers, I don't think they realize what's happening, okay? Not only to their property, it's killed a whole tree line of mine. It is, LaVale Sanitary's out there about every 2 weeks with a vibratory plate to check the liquefaction under the road. It's that bad. So the neighborhood's gonna lose a road. And this, of course, is no concern of mine because it's not on my road, but it is. Because it's the neighborhood. You know, you want to take care of your neighborhood. So if you could get with Mr. Squires and find out what he thinks on these issues. But if someone does have the opportunity to come out and look at the issues not on civil, I would really appreciate if someone from the commission came with. Because again, what we've had to put up with for the last all this time has been extremely bad information, extremely bad decisions on our part, on their part, okay? I'm pretty sure that going and tearing something down before you actually know what's right or wrong is the right way to go. So, and again, cutting trees down so I can plant more so he can, that's really not the correct way to address an issue like that.
And where about in LaVale roughly is that located, sir?
Walmart parking lot, when you stand on Walmart parking lot, and look at the mountain right there,
Mhm.
okay, you see that little white house right there? That's Mr. Porter's house, and mine is just below it.
Okay, so like Country Club Road, I think, runs back
Uh,
there. Is it
Stone
general area?
Point.
Okay.
Stone Point turns into Marshall Porter, and it's right next to the Webco Bank. Yeah. I'm just getting over 7 surgeries in the last 6 years, so I'm home quite a bit right now. And that's about it, really. I mean, there's so much that it's just really best to speak of at the property, because it's a lot of visual.
Right. Mr. DeWitt's here from Public Works. Dan?
I don't think I've dealt with you directly, but I know you worked with one of our engineers on staff, Whitney, I believe, in the past couple of years.
Yeah, for my building project, yeah.
I just wanted to let you know, a lot of the issues you described, we may be able to help you look at as far as road conditions, restorations, any type of cost sharing that may have been mentioned by Mr. Porter. There had definitely been a lot of turnover in this first floor office in terms of people involved in the situation. I think
I found that out, actually, yeah.
kind of getting together and reviewing what we can and can't help you with would be best for everybody.
I think that would be wonderful.
We can definitely do that for you. I'm aware of your request to get the additions too close to the line, the zoning appeals, and I know that there's a 50/50 project, and I know there's a lot of folks in that area, so we'll be happy to help where we can from engineering and try to fill in the planning and zoning offices, all make sure that you hear at least on the same page.
Oh, that would be great, it'd be great, it would, because we're just kind of being pushed off to the shadows, you know, so.
We'll take it as far as we can, and then
Sure,
once it gets to
yeah,
the.
that's all I can ask.
Return to
That's
you and say,
wonderful.
we step back, but where we can help, and we'll definitely do our best to do that.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
And we'll all get together probably next week and start working on this. So if you don't mind, give us just a little bit of time
Oh,
to put our heads
we don't
together.
expect anything, yeah, that
But
quick.
we'll certainly follow up, and there'll be sort of a group of us that'll follow up. Just on the commissioner's behalf, I'll probably lead that up. That way, they get a lot of requests like this, so we'll make sure we follow
I
up
hate to bring all of
and
that
work
in.
towards this.
Would you like me to give all my contact information?
Yeah.
If Dan's got it, I'll get it, and we'll all work together on that, so, for sure.
All right, thanks.
Very
Thank you.
good. Okay. That concludes this evening's meeting. Our next meeting will be Thursday, October 20th, 5 o'clock. Thanks.
Thank you.